All right. So, what is the temple of God? Is there any other foundation? I'm reading from First Corinthians chapter 3, verses 9 through 17. Or if the menstruation of condemnation be glory, much more do the ministration of righteousness exceed in glory. For even when that which was made glorious had no glory in this respect, by reason of the glory that excelleth. For if that which is done away, glorious, seeing then that we have such hope, we use with great plainness of speech, not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could be steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. But their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth some veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Christ. But even unto this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away. You should know all things. You should know all things. All things will be revealed, right? Now the Lord is that spirit where where there's where there and where the spirit of the Lord there is liberty. Where there's the spirit of the Lord there is liberty. There is freedom. Right? This is why you cannot fight the warfare that's going on in the world and in our country with weapons, man. You can't do it with this. You'll lose every time. So you're no good. You're no good if you're dead. You're no good. So where there is liberty, there is power in the spirit, but there's even more power in the spirit when the spirit is in the number of the masses. We as a people are the power. Our governments is just what they are. The power is in the people. Hey, I encourage people to read the Declaration of Independence, study the doctrines of the Constitution, look up the powers of Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. Even though these 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 papers or these documents, they were not established for um, certain type of people. It was their own kind, right? It was about them and their system. It's a system. It's a system that if you don't understand how the system works, you can't win in it. And the system and understand how the system works and how the system works is tied into those people. So you gotta operate in the system that they built. Because if you operate outside of the system that they built, you're not gonna be successful. You only be as successful they allow you to be because they control the system. They control the system. So, but in order to you can't beat them. You got to beat them with their own system. I'll come later. So, what is the temple of God, and is there any other foundation? So, in this portion of Scripture, uh, Apostle Paul penned this letter to correct the serious problems in the Corinthian church that had been reported to him. These were disorders by the Corinthians viewed lightly, but Paul regarded as serious sin. This letter addressed the kinds of problems churches experience when many members remain carnal and do not decisively separate them from the pagan society around them, which causes division or illness in the body. Right? You, you just like today's society, right? You can't you can't fight the fight that they're fighting the way they're fighting it. You got to separate yourself from that fight because if you know that your enemy is the fight that their weapons of warfare are armed weapons, right? Guns, right? But and that's crazy against its own citizens. It's different when it's one thing. We know war is what it is. War is what it is, and God has nothing what it is because David went to war. We know that, so we know that's a good thing. But what when you're using weapons that your own civilian and country is making and using it against your own civilians, that's a problem. Now, the thing is, once we as civilians, because you're looking at a nation like ours, right, and we have the right to bear guns, right? We had the right to bear guns, and that right to bear guns came along because when Great Britain was trying to invade the United States because we wanted to declare independence from Britain, right, and become sovereign and become our own nation and be guided by our own rules, and we wanted to walk away from just wanted to disconnect, wanted to separate, same thing, right? Wanted to separate. This is what we're talking about, right? Wanted to separate ourselves from that Britain society that was trying to hold us down. Now, what happened was happening is in the Constitution, and the Constitution and says that even the Declaration of Independence speaks upon that very thing. But they also let us know that that when we have a power in our own country that's going that it does not have our best interests at, we have the ability as a people, right, to dispose that power. I'm not talking about it. It's not an insurrection, right? It's not going in it's one thing to go in and to take guns and try to take over the country. It's another thing to institute by the congressional laws that we have to remove bodies in federal positions and actually in our local position. That's what the voting thing does, right? So so because the power lies in Congress and the Senate to remove federal agents, right? The power lies with them, right, to do that. But you know where the true power lies at? We the people. We have all the power. We're the most powerful country in the universe, on the earth, right? And people want to equate that with we the most powerful country on the earth because of our military power. That is not what makes us the most powerful people on the planet. What's make us the most powerful country on the planet and a superpower is because the freedoms of the people that we have as a whole. Don't let them confuse you. It's about this. Yes, we are powerful because because of democracy that we have. And when we're operating in what they want when we start to operate in the very thing that what makes us power, and what they're saying is guns makes us stronger and make us powerful, right? So we have the right to bear arms. And that even makes it even that much more makes us that much more powerful because we have that right, right? But we have that right to protect ourselves from foreign countries, right? We, but what they're trying to do is create a civil war. They're trying to create a civil war, and and we're not talking about civil war. We're talking about a civil war for your freedom. We're not talking about a civil war anymore to hold blacks in slavery. They're talking about they're trying to create a civil war to hold everybody hostage in this country to a sovereign power. One power, one person, one power, one person. So once we go into a civil, so what they think that how that looks is that we're going to put troops. We're going to have troops or people come with armed weapons, and we're going to force other people to do what we say, right? And then when we retaliate, right? And then because they bring in guns, so we out there protesting. We ain't got guns, right? But then they're saying that the guns give them force and give them power. So now what they want you to believe next is that violence, right? Because now they want you to believe that violence and power, right? They're setting you up. America, they're setting you up, man. They want you to believe that that you have to retaliate with anger and malice and this, that, and that's what they want, right? Because the next thing they want a reason to put you under a martial law. Then what they want you to do, because you have the right to bear a gun, then they want you to fight, right? Fight their fight. And then when they fight their fight, then you got a civil war. But guess what? They got bigger guns, man. They got the military. They got airplanes. Who got how many people in America got an airplane and got jets and got jets and all in their backyard? We don't. I'm talking about in our country. Our military do, but you average you. Look, I don't have no jet no fighter jet in my garage, so we can't fight that fight with them. There's no need to go into a civil war, right? We got to go into a war of litigation. So anyway, anyway, so I believe that there. Let me back to this. It's a lot. It's a lot, but you gotta be ye separated from. You can't be you gotta understand that the fight is not an armed fight. The fight is by the spirit. The fight is here, man. You don't understand as a people when we collectively as a people come together as a people, we can do anything. But when if you don't understand the congressional laws that has been established and the constitutional laws and the laws of your local government, and you're not holding your local representatives responsible for adhering to the guidelines of what they're in office to do according to their according to the powers that your local constitution have designed for them to do. You know, you people are listening and going, hey man, my representative is promising me that they're making promises to you that they can't fulfill. They can't fulfill, right? But the one promise that they can fulfill is what's designed in their responsibilities in their constitutional in your local constitutional laws say they this is what they're supposed to do. You got to hold them accountable for what is written legally and what they're responsible for to do instead of trying to hold them responsible for things that they know that they cannot do. That's why a lot of people get thrown out these city hall meetings because we got this going on and we got that going on, we got this going on, and my neighborhood is this, my neighborhood is that, and they throw your tail out of there because right they ain't trying to your city hall, your city council ain't trying to hear none of that noise. Why? Because you're not going in